Alex Eala delivered a dominant win over Julia Grabher with an excellent performance. She started the clay season in fantastic fashion, hinting at strong results ahead. Even though the tournament is in Europe and Austria, where there aren't many Filipinos, she still had great support from her fellow Filipinos, which gave her extra motivation. Alex, ahead of her match against Julia Grabher, held an additional practice session away from the center court, without the presence of the crowd, to further refine her clay court shots. That quiet, focused preparation clearly paid off as she stepped onto the court today with remarkable confidence and control from the very first rally. This extra session wasn't just about hitting balls, it was about fine-tuning movement, adjusting timing on the slower surface, and building rhythm. Alex looked comfortable sliding into her shots, constructing points patiently, and choosing the right moments to accelerate. It was evident that she came into this match with a clear plan, and more importantly, the belief that she could execute it. Leading up to the tournament, Alex also spent valuable time training at the Nadal Academy, working closely with Tony Nadal. That preparation seemed to have a direct impact on her performance today. One of the most noticeable improvements was her forehand, heavier, more aggressive, and loaded with topspin. The shot repeatedly pushed Grabher behind the baseline, opening the court and allowing Alex to dictate play. The influence of that training block was visible in how she built points. Much like the classic clay court patterns, Alex used her forehand to move her opponent side to side, stretching the rallies before finishing with precision. The high bouncing topspin created uncomfortable contact points for Grabher, who struggled to step inside the court and take control. Every time Alex had time on the forehand, she looked dangerous. There was also a tactical maturity in her shot selection. Instead of rushing for winners, she trusted the weight of her forehand to do the damage. Deep cross-court shots, followed by sudden direction changes down the line, kept Grabher constantly on the move. This patient aggression is often the key on clay, and Alex executed it beautifully. Another impressive aspect was her footwork. She moved efficiently, recovered quickly, and maintained balance even in longer rallies. That stability allowed her to generate consistent spin and depth, making her forehand not just a weapon, but the foundation of her entire game today. It set the tone, controlled the tempo, and ultimately broke down her opponent. Confidence grew with every game. As the match progressed, Alex began stepping further inside the baseline, taking the ball earlier and dictating rallies even more. The additional practice session clearly translated into match composure. She wasn't guessing, she was executing. Her patterns were clear, her movement sharp, and her forehand remained the centerpiece of her dominance. It's also worth noting the mental side of her performance. Even in moments where rallies became physical, Alex stayed calm and committed to her strategy. She trusted the work she had done in practice, and that belief showed in her body language. There was no hesitation, only conviction. By the end of the match, the story was clear. Preparation, confidence, and a powerful forehand shaped by intense clay training led to a convincing victory. Alex controlled the rhythm, dictated from the baseline, and used heavy topspin to keep her opponent constantly under pressure. If this performance is any indication, her clay court season is starting in the best possible way. With this level of confidence, improved forehand firepower, and smart point construction, Alex looks ready to challenge deeper in the tournament and potentially deliver even bigger results on clay. Alex continued to build her advantage throughout the match by using deep, heavy forehands that consistently pushed Julia Grabher far behind the baseline. Time and time again, she created uncomfortable defensive positions for her opponent. Those high-spinning shots kicked up off the clay, forcing Grabher to hit from shoulder height, making it extremely difficult to take control of the rallies. Once she had Julia pushed back, Alex Eala didn't rush. She patiently constructed the point, a deep forehand cross-court, followed by another one even heavier, then a sudden change of direction. She began moving her opponent from side to side. With just a few shots, she would open the entire court, and when the space appeared, she stepped in and finished the rally with an aggressive forehand. It was a clear and effective pattern that worked repeatedly. What made this especially impressive was the consistency. These weren't isolated points. Alex kept applying the same pressure over and over. Grabher simply couldn't step into the court. Every rally started with Alex dictating, pushing deep, and gradually taking more ground. The deeper the forehands landed, the shorter the replies became, and that's when Alex attacked decisively. There were several standout rallies where Alex completely controlled the geometry of the court. She would push Grabher wide to the backhand, then immediately send a heavy forehand to the opposite side, forcing a full sprint. After 2 or 3 such shots, Grabher was fully stretched and Alex calmly stepped inside the baseline to deliver the finishing blow. That aggressive forehand down the line became one of the signature shots of the match. The crowd clearly appreciated the quality of these points. After some of the longer rallies, there was audible excitement as Alex showcased both patience and power. The combination of heavy spin and smart placement created visually impressive exchanges, and each clean forehand winner drew strong reactions. Even in a European setting, the support for Alex Eala was noticeable, and that energy seemed to lift her even more. Another key factor was how early she recognized short balls. Because her deep forehands kept pushing Grabher back, Alex frequently received shorter replies. She reacted quickly, stepped forward with confidence, and accelerated through the forehand. These finishing shots weren't rushed, they were controlled, precise, and played with conviction. That's what made them so effective. Her ability to vary the height and depth of the forehand also played a major role. Sometimes she hit with extreme topspin to push Grabher back, and other times she flattened it out to speed up the rally. This variation prevented Grabher from finding any rhythm. Just when she adjusted to the high bounce, Alex would suddenly drive a faster forehand into the open space. Movement was another highlight. Alex positioned herself extremely well to use the forehand as often as possible. She stepped around her backhand when she had time, choosing to dictate with her stronger wing. This aggressive court positioning allowed her to control the tempo of the match and keep the pressure constant. There was also a noticeable confidence in her body language. After winning key points with the forehand, Alex stayed composed but focused, immediately preparing for the next rally. The belief in her game plan was obvious. Alex Eala trusted that her heavy forehand would continue to create openings, and she stuck with that strategy from start to finish. One particularly memorable sequence came during a mid-set game where Alex hit 3 consecutive deep forehands, each one pushing Grabher further back. On the 4th shot, she changed direction sharply down the line, forcing a desperate defensive reply. Alex then stepped inside the court and finished with a clean inside-out forehand winner. The crowd responded instantly, recognizing the quality of point construction. As the match progressed, the pattern became even more dominant. Grabher began to anticipate the heavy forehand but still struggled to counter it. The depth was simply too consistent. Even when she managed to return, she remained on the defensive and Alex stayed in control of the rally. This relentless pressure slowly wore down her opponent. The support from the stands added to the atmosphere. After spectacular forehand winners, you could hear enthusiastic reactions, and that encouragement seemed to fuel Alex's momentum. She fed off the energy, stepping into her shots with even more authority. Each successful, attacking forehand built confidence and reinforced her dominance. Alex also showed great shot tolerance. She was willing to stay in longer rallies, knowing that eventually her forehand would create the opening.